then move on with this news that came out of nowhere. And it literally was one day they have a meet, from what I can gather, they have a meeting and they tell the students and the staff that you have, first I heard it was until August. And then it's the end of June, and now it's tomorrow. If you on some try and be morally right or whatever, and I'm not saying that morally right stuff that King was talking about. Right. That's different. I'm not talking about that, because ain't no way you putting women and the kids in front of water hoses and police dogs, and they don't give a damn. Excuse me. I'm a teacher, and if I'm not teaching your children, people have a right to come and say, "Hey, look, man, you're not doing what I need you to do for my child." But you have to be involved too, right? So you can't tell me as a parent, unless you're involved, that you're not doing my child right. I need y'all to correlate this to what's going on around here as well. You can't tell me I'm not doing your child right if you're not involved in the child's life on all levels. The issue that it is now is blatant in everybody's face. Yeah. It's blatant in everybody's face. So we're not sitting there talking about what can we do for residents. We don't care nothing about the residents.
Never about the residents.
It's never about the residents. And the issue that people are having, that I see, and they still won't let me come down to the council. When I'm out of school, I'm just gonna go. We out of school in a couple weeks. I'm just gonna come to one. I don't care.
You lie.
Good morning, family. How y'all doing? How's everybody? We appreciate y'all being here with us this morning. Get your morning cup of bro. It's gonna be a little chilly because it's a little cold outside. I guess we got a little unexpected northern weather. But it is what it is. But we'll heat it up. Y'all know how that go. Maybe we'll save that. What's just come to mind for Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Just something that's just come to my head. I just kind of doing the historical timeline. And we'll do that on Tuesday. To see, because we got to really truly understand how all of this ideology has been co-opted. Because at the end of the day, it's even listening to what we were just listening to a few minutes ago. How does that arguing who's right bring about liberation? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, any ideology, if any ideology keeps you passive, then that's not liberating. It's not liberating you. It's not liberating your family. It's not liberating the people around you. Peaceful protest is cool. Like Gandhi was able to do peaceful protests over there, even though he was a very racist man. He was able to do peaceful protests in India, because when you got 1 billion people versus 100,000, they ain't got enough bullets. So they literally walked the British off the landmass. But what were the most important thing for them is even though they might have a Hinduism and Buddhism and whatever, and Shintoism or whatever they may have there, because they have a form of Shintoism that comes from China and Japan. They have a form over there, which they, this is where the other gods come in at. But at least they were very clear that we are the same people, and this other group of people are the ones that need to come off the landmass and no longer control the resources. Now, unfortunately, what happens is the damage is done psychologically, right? So in 72 or 73, one of his own members of his own cult or belief system assassinated him, right? Same thing they did when one of his daughters came up later on in the 80s or 90s. One of his daughters was murdered. But the idea of being able to move 1 billion people, to remove the shackles and the chains off of not only their minds, but also their feet, also their hands, also their mouths, and then remove a colonial power who was backed by the United States even then, remove a colonial power and most of its shackles and chains out off of its necks and mouths and hands and feet, and literally force march them off their part of the world. That's important. It happened in the 50s here in Africa, and it happened in the 50s here in America. The only issue is that we were given a leader that said we're going to follow the same ideology. But what didn't happen was King didn't pay attention to the fact, or wasn't aware of the fact, or ignored the fact that you don't have 1 billion people around you. You don't have 1 billion people to march with you, to back you up. You only had at that time 22 million. Like right now, we look at our populations right around, we're a little bit more than double at 47 million. But we have such a vast way of thinking of things, such a diverse way of thinking of things. At the end of the day, what are we going to do together for liberation? So it's not about whether one way is better than the other way. The pie is whether you cook a peach cobbler in a square dish or a rectangular dish, or you cook it in a round dish. It's still the same pie. And it shouldn't matter. Well, and a lot of times we get people arguing and debating over whether their ideology is right or not. I really don't care whether your ideology is right. What part can your ideology and the people that work with you, and see, people want followers, and the people that work with you, what part of your ideology is going to help us get that piece of the pie for us so that we can work towards being liberated and as independent as possible? So as much as we talk about community, the things that involve community, we don't have. And nowhere in Black America. Only that place that I know that's called Freetown in Georgia are they supposed to be doing something that they're self-governing. So 19 people, and I told y'all this before, bought 970 acres of land. Now, I don't know much about how it's faring now, but I do know from seeing things in social media, they've done that in my little bit of lightweight investigation. They at least did that part. But how are they going to have a banking system? Are they going to use a susu? How are they going to have a medical system? Is somebody well versed in medicine in order to be able to help somebody if they get sick? How are they protecting the 900 acres that they invested in? And are people community minded enough in order to say, I don't have to, hey, if I just knock on the door and say, hey, hey, Uncle Mick, you got, I ran out of flour. You got flour, and then, when I get paid or when I do whatever, I'm gonna pay you back. And say, yeah, man, here you go. Because that's what it's gonna require in order for us to save our tomorrow. Okay, because right now what we have is the destruction of Black civilization. So we're getting fed. We listen to the music. We do this. We don't read books. We do bullshit in school. Excuse my French, but hey, that's one of the languages we get taught. Okay, where kids are not performing in school. Parents are not. Hey, I'm done. When they get 18, they gotta go. No, they may not be ready to go at 18. But you want to have your freedom and this and that and other. Oh, you got to raise the children until you can't raise them no more. That's your job. That's what we have to keep doing. We have to keep raising our children until, and if that means they need to come home for something, then they come home. Now, unfortunately, what people will do is, well, hey, my whole thing is this: you know what the rules are. The rules didn't change because you left, and you may be grown and have children. Still, the rules apply until you're able to get yourself on your feet and go back out there again. Or if you have it as a parent, you help them out, and then, well, you got to pay me back. Well, and I get it, Bill. The banks make you pay them back. Well, we're not talking about being a bank. We're talking about being able to assist. And I made a mistake in the quote that I said before, where I talked about how trees grow, right? And there's a African proverb that says, young palm fronds grow higher than old palm fronds. And they do, just like if you look at a tree, the new growth grows higher than old growth, but the old palm fronds hold the foundation. Old palm fronds are more connected to the root. And that's important. So what are we giving our young palm fronds? Because it looks like what we're doing is every day we're sending them out there to the wolves. And I don't even want to say wolves, because wolves don't even act that way. And sharks only eat when they need to. We're sending them out unprepared into the worst area in the world that they could, because they're not prepared. They don't have any armor. And we send them out every single day into a desert with no protection. And it's cool to pray over them. That's fine. But what are you teaching them other than that? In addition to that. And not that, it was God's will. But if you make sure that they were protected, then maybe that changes how the will is seen and how it operates. If you put the armor of what, I'm gonna say this again. I don't want us. We're sitting here arguing, and a lot of times I don't listen to people when they argue about information. I don't care what your information is. How is it? And if you think it's better than mine, that's fine. I don't care. But show me where you and a few other people who believe in what it is that you believe in are moving in a manner that shows that there's some progress in our getting a liberation.
I'm gonna tell you like some of what I be.
Because you listen to a lot of stuff, bro.
I'm gonna tell you why I do, because you have to down there see where your people like. Because it's another one I was looking at. They was called the Hodge twins or something, and I was seeing this brother, what is called Amazing Lucas, and he was finna do a podcast with him. But I be catching the stuff like be coming down my timeline, and he was they not airing the podcast out now. He came with the receipts and everything because he said he was about to put hands on. It had a Palestinian guy on there, right? And he used the N-word. And he was like, and these guys, he said he got hip to them because they was doing workouts at first. But now they just switched their platform, and it's more where they dog blacks out. So he said, when you know what I'm saying, he was like, his thing was they was defending the guy that used the N-word. And he was like, and you had another guy defending him. And it just made me think. That's why I started looking at this. I'm like, what it is, we're in a situation now with the social media. You can get paid by if you know what I'm saying, if how you going at people. And mainly our own. And that's where when I be looking at that, like what I was watching today, it made me look at it. I'm like, and like you say, it don't matter who you is, and it just happened to be a Moore Science Temple person and with a 5%er. And it was like, to me it was like the brother, like, how can, and what to me it was like he wasn't listening what the 5%er was saying. He was basically saying, we not knocking what y'all doing, but and what I'm starting to learn with, what can we agree on? Let's work on that.
See, Malcolm said, if we're gonna sit at the table and talk about liberation, talk about rights, leave your ism at the door. Don't bring your beliefs in. Bring in what you know. My teacher, one of my teachers, and I ain't gonna call him a mentor, one of my teachers, he's the same way. I come in there, I think I know this. He was like, I don't give a shit about what you think you know. What do you know? I don't care nothing about your opinions. What is your view? What's your view based on fact? And that's the thing. You have to listening to what I heard. It sounded like that they were talking about I saw that comment. I want you to put that back up too in a second. Yeah. That was talking about ideologies. Bro, I don't care nothing about that. We don't care. We're in the we're in the emergency room, and the IV is running, but we got just as much blood running out as IVs running in.
Yeah. That's why I'm gonna send it for you. You can watch where you can see where the brother was agreeing that we not knocking your organization, but he wanted to, just because what I'm saying now, this brother done went so far off. He trying to attack everybody's stuff.
See, and that's not the whole. That's not the point, because then you just want to do that because you want to be right.
Right.
Instead of saying right or wrong, I don't care nothing about that. Where's the energy and information that you're talking about that's going to say, hey, look, we can do these things to, it's like one of my nephews, they part of the Prince Hall Masons over here. They're looking at a building across the street. They on Garland Street. They're looking at buy the building. Don't complain about it being an eyesore. Make sure that is foundation's right. Go get it checked out through the city, whatever you got to do, since y'all have access to that. And then buy the building. Don't complain, and then let's go over there and fix it up.
Facts.
So if my neighbor's grass needs to be cut, and I'm complaining about it, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to cut the grass.
Facts.
Go cut the grass. I'm not debating with my neighbor. Well, why haven't you cut your grass? Well, I don't care nothing about that. Go cut the grass. If my grass need to be cut, my old school people would say, hey, man, hey, boy, go out there and cut the grass.
Facts.
But if I find somebody else to do first cut because of whatever they do, hey, man, I'll pay you to do the first cut, then I got it after that. Period. Only thing I tell them is, hey, look, I know you use rye morse. Don't cut it real super low. Keep it high because I like it to be high. That's my only thing. I don't care. And see, we worried about, well, did you use a Caterpillar lawnmower? Did you have your motor have a Briggs and Stratton? Because I think the Briggs and Stratton is more important than the Toro. Man, shut up. Just get the grass cut.
Facts.
Get the grass cut.
Facts.
But did you use a number 2 pencil or a 2.5 lead pencil? Because the 2.5 lead pencil is a little harder. It's a fucking pencil. Get the damn thing done. Get it done. I don't care. Well, I have my wood chipper is a I'm sorry, folks, but this is what we do. We're arguing over stuff in our head that stops us from being liberated. It's like you got this dumb shit that people are arguing about here in the city, but still people are behind it, are doing whatever they want to do. And see, here's the thing. They don't want us to come together, and that's part of the problem. And we should recognize that. Since 2026, if we still arguing about your religion, we are goddamn fools. We are stupid. We're not going to get it. You know why? Because they don't want us to have anything. But we can go do it ourselves. If we spend billions of dollars at Applebee's and J.A. Alexander's and all of these other places that are not run by black people, we go to run a Mexican Cinco de Mayo coming. Niggas gonna be there drinking margaritas like they Mexican. Get the fuck out of here.
And wearing the colors.
But yet Juneteenth come, same motherfuckers that was
don't partake in it.
They ain't gonna do it. But 4th of July, you're gonna be wearing your red, white, and blue. Nigga, you ain't free. And yes, I'm saying the word. Because that's how we're thinking. We're not looking at, when they wrote the Constitution, in 1787 that we was enslaved. Oh, we was indigenous, and you were on the reservation, 100 million to 50,000. So shut up. Indigenous savages, it's in there.
Why do people keep overlooking that part of it?
Man, because it's easier. See, here's the thing. See, I wasn't trying to get all this fired up this morning, but I was listening to Lynch Mob this morning anyway. So let's go.
For sure.
That's the reason why I was late. I lost track of time because I was singing songs I ain't sung in years and all that.
Oh, you know, I was waiting. Wasn't no problem. I was waiting because I knew when you sent me that video this morning.
No, boy, what?
I said, oh yeah, I see what time he on. That's why I was waiting. I said when because I'm like, oh yeah, I see what time he on.
Man, we are where we are because our minds are divided. We are where we are because we're not looking at the fact that when we sit in these church houses, what it still tells us, they still believed in slavery. We're not where we are because if you believe in Jesus the Christ, then you understand that he's a revolutionary. And you're not trying to be a revolutionary because you don't want to buck the system. I'm just trying to get my slice of heaven and do my little thing and travel here and do whatever, but I'm not bucking the system. I'm not going to try and buck the system in this way, that way, or any other way. Like I was having a discussion with somebody yesterday, and I was like, look, I might get a mandate from the school to teach this. That's fine. I'm going to teach it. I may not like it, but I'm going to teach it. But guess what else I'm going to do? I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. And you're going to have evidence that I taught it. But at the end of the day, I'm still doing some other stuff. I'm not going to sit around there and let them, okay, well, we want you to teach us all year. Fine, I am, but I'm going to mix my stuff in there too. Because it's important.
All right.
And what we constantly want to do is we want to battle and argue ideologies. We're still talking about Dr. Shenkat Diop in 1974 showed us that all of the pharaohs and all of the leaders and pharaohs and queens and all of these people were African people. And we still debating that, whether they indigenous. And then you got some of these clowns talking about we come from the stars. Get the fuck out of here. There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of it in the pyramid text. The solar disk with the fingers is talking about the sun rays that come from Ra, where you get Ray from. Or Amun, or Amen Ra. So when you say amen after every prayer, you're praying to an African God. And so are they. They know it, but we don't.
Yeah, the wise ones do.
Yeah. And white folks know it too.
Yeah.
They ain't got the Oriental Institute in Chicago built by James Breasted, who was racist as hell.
Answer this question for me. And we just dealing with the Masons, right? And I'm talking about the Shriners. Why do they get a Quran if they're supposed to be Christians?
And they get both books.
Yeah, but I mean, no, but if you're a Christian,
right?
Why do when you go to become a Mason, why are you getting a Quran?
Because you get because one comes from the other one.
No, I mean, yeah, but this how we going back to the ideology,
right?
See, so people just don't understand. You looking at the language back then. Well, nobody talking English.
No, and here's the other part. Let's take that, make it a little deeper. Let's dig that ditch a little deeper. The so-called Jews only in their Torah or the Talmud only believe in the first 5 books of the Bible. Anything after that, they don't even read. The first 5 books. That's it. Their whole ideology is based on the first 5 books of the Bible. Nothing after that. None of the other 61 books. But why are they the most quote unquote powerful people on the planet? Because they stick together and they stuck when they believe. They're not arguing belief. Only thing they're doing is, number one, the Holocaust not gonna matter. And number 2, whatever we can control, we are going to.
Yeah, when they got control of all your industry, we can sit up and say who don't control the most of your media in America. Let's cut the crap on that.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch got what, Fox or whatever
and
it was.
And just bought. Yeah, that was and that was what's my man now? I can't think of his name because his son just acquired all, and that's what BET, all these different things.
Yeah.
So you looking at Sheldon Adelsons.
Yeah.
Just went and bought all that. So and then it's going back to this question right here. Let me go back. I don't want to forget.
No.
Okay, what is this? Trump is going to liberate us from pesky burden of elections. Now you see what they don't even want elections no more. They want him to be king.
But he said that, right? And it's Project 2025.
Right.
He's been saying that. So the whole point of this so-called war is nothing that is about control of oil, and controlling the prices, and America's not losing its position in the money market. Because other people are saying, well, we're going back to a gold standard, which Nixon took us off in 1972.
Facts.
But yeah, we're not talking about going to Fort Knox and look at the reserves there in Fort Knox.
Why would
because why would you need any more gold and you got enough to flood the market?
Yeah, why would you do that? That's the question. Why would you go do that? No, it was a reason I asked that concrete jungle. I get what you're saying though. So you don't have to be a Christian to be a Mason. You have to believe that the God is one.
That's it. Period. Yeah. You can be whatever and be a Mason as long as you're a good person doing community work. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But they're gonna, because there are only two major traditional ideologies here. Christianity and Islam. So you got to choose which one it is that you're going to be when you go into a group. Period. That's it. That's any and every group. But if we understand it, okay, so if you got the Quran that comes from the Bible that comes from the Torah and the Talmud, and the Torah and Talmud that come from the pyramid text. Go read the mama. Read what the hell mama's saying. And then you understand all of this shit. That's the reason why I don't be tripping about whether it's this or whether it's that. I don't care nothing about none of that. You know why? Because I have a little bit of understanding about what mom said, what grandma said, what great-grandma said. I'm sorry, what great-great-grandmama said. Because great-great-grandmama is what gave birth to these other traditional ideas. If we follow the story, and Moses brought the so-called Israelis or Israelites out of Egypt, then what did he know? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. He knew. It says in the Bible that Moses was a priest from the temple of On, knowledgeable in all the wisdom of ancient Egypt. Read that part, and that tells you where it comes from. So when he comes down off the mount and he's mad about them worshiping the golden calf is Hathor.
Nigga, they was going back to ideology.
If you wear a cross, that's ideology. Yeah. If you wear the karush, the prayer beads, that's what they call it in synagogue. That's ideology.
I meant to say, because they was going back into, if you really go look what Moses was doing, he was trying to raise back up the children of Israel because they was off the path.
Okay, but do we know what Israel stands for? Man, we did a long time ago. Yeah, Isis, Ra, and Elohim. Israel, African gods. That's the name come from.
But they know that. That's why when I be hearing the Middle East, is no such thing.
There's no such thing as the Middle East.
They tried
that name. That's North Africa. And if you look at a map and you really Google Middle East and really Google, you can Google it on Google Earth. Do it. It'll show you there's a point in the middle of the ocean. That's it. Nothing's there. There's no land. It's water.
Yeah, that was just that was some stuff that we was able to be tricked out of.
Right. It was political semantics, and they constantly call it that anyway.
Yeah.
Because Israel is attached to Kemet. So where you parting water at? How you gonna part water? Are you gonna part the sea in order to cross it? You didn't have to. You have to cross you would just walk over there. So as we're debating this, and we're debating, was Jesus black, or was this was Jesus' original name? Who fucking cares when you're dying in the emergency room? Stop the argument.
But I think when you gotta, like, we do have to look at this. You gotta look at the people who gave you this, and that's why we so caught up in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is what you got to think when we was coming off the ships, not us personally, but our ancestors.
Yeah,
you got to understand it. Yeah, it didn't it just happened overnight. So everybody want to sit up there and say, well, this person would. we know one thing: the religion that they was being taught is what they didn't know, and how it was taught to them. Like when I do hear people that say, you know, they look at, you know, we ain't gonna worry about his color. Well, then why did you change it? Why did you give us this type of image if it wasn't no issue about the color? Then you know what I'm saying? It just, to me, I just go back to like, how do you expect a people who enslave you to give you the true and living God?
Because part of the true and living God should be inside of you.
But when you don't, you gotta understand.
I'm
finna prove a point to you.
Wait. What they doing to Coming to America? Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Yeah, but this what we forgetting. You forgetting that when you came here, you came on a plantation. You got to remember. So when the kids is being born, now, I you know, I don't probably want to go off into this, but what people didn't understand when they remember that game show, the $64,000 question. You know what the science behind the $64,000 question was? That's how long it took to make a nigga. Well, see, that's the 64 years.
Hold up. What we talked about before, from 1808 to 1863. Yeah. That's the same thing.
Yeah, but that's the point what I'm saying. So when you getting that, like, because when people be thinking the ones that when it came off the ship, how you think they helped to build their civilization? Man,
you were killing them, raping them. You was doing all kind of stuff.
But these wasn't fools that they had got off like drinkers, weed smokers when they brought them off. These were people that helped them build a civilization.
Man, listen. And not only that, it helped you build this country, but you forced them to do it. But you also, in your missions, whether there be missions from the Christian church or missions from the mosque over there, you were pulling in people that could help you build stuff. You weren't pulling in people that wasn't sitting around doing anything. You didn't pull in old men and old women. Right. You pulled in young men and young women and children who were strong and they had skills. So part of the mission over there was to identify those persons that you could use, you could drag over. You could pay other warlords in order to capture them and bring them over here. And then you capture the warlords in his group too. Only because you developed what's called a gun, the Gatling gun. And that's where 1884 comes in, the Berlin Conference 1884, because all of these castles were on the coastline. There was no invasion of the interior till 1884. And that was 400 years after the papal bull was given by Pope Nicholas V. So at the end of the day, are you still talking about your religion and your beliefs?
Yeah.
Oh, I had somebody moral
cloud for you.
Thomas said, talking about call ice on you. Call ice, please. The motherfuckers will get a lesson too. Sit your ass down in here and get some. Yeah. Call them.
And that's what I'm saying. So when you looking at,
I'll give you my phone number. Shit, call them motherfuckers. Facts. I don't care.
And that's what I'm saying. So when you having these people like how they did it, when you just think about it, when we had what was it, Mandingo,
right?
When they don't understand these plantations. For a minute, remember how General Motors was when you had they had the assembly line. What do you think the black women was? That was their assembly line, they plants to get their workers. They needed people to work the field. Yep. You don't have these plantations and all this going. See, and that's what I'm saying. They don't understand. Like, these are the type of things they want to just be like saying they want to be gone.
But
in history, they want to write that out.
Let them write it out. Yeah. We don't have to forget it. My father lived that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not forgetting it. My father was called a nigga and kicked out of Capitol. I'm not forgetting it. Yeah. My son's listening. I'm telling him too. You can go down if you want to, but understand what legacy you're talking about.
Yeah. Nah, but
they can do what they want to, but what are we doing in return? I don't care if they tore down the statue of King and none of this other stuff. If we choose to forget it, then that's on us. Right. I just read something about Langston Hughes that somebody posted this morning, and I hope I can save it if I didn't save it, about how his father ran away from his mother because he was disappointed. He went to law school and then he couldn't get a job in law school, so he left his mother and Langston Hughes by themselves and moved to Mexico, and talking about he didn't like black folks and he hated black people. But Langston Hughes' grandfather was one of the men who was trying to get African people free with John Brown at Harper's Ferry, and they buried him in a shawl that the grandmother kept. And then when the grandmother passed away, Langston Hughes donated it to Oberlin College, and it's still down there with a letter or with a placard that's saying this is for a man who fought for our freedom in Harper's Ferry, and he was killed by the white folks when they caught him, along with John Brown.
Yeah.
So we ain't got to sit around here and man, why? And I get it, because it is important. I get it. But that's not going to stop me from them motherfuckers are not going to stop me from buying books and reading.
No,
Them motherfuckers are not gonna stop me from, as long as we have a platform. I don't care. I know church ain't gonna let me talk.
No, they not.
Oh no, church ain't gonna let me talk
because they got their system set up. You think I'm gonna set my system up and let you come and you wake the people up? That's what I'm saying. You have to wake your people up. You just can't go get no people and just be like, they supposed to know this, because they don't know. That's know like hidden figures. We didn't know that, but our problem is because every other nationality, every other group that's here, you know what they do? They kids go to American schools, but guess what they have in their communities?
And not, they got a community, but got
a one community school.
And not on what? Look at what Latinx did. We gotta have a community center.
Smart,
but right, absolutely, you supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
No,
man, serve Mexican food or Hispanic food or whatever, and talk the language or whatever you do.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I respect it.
Absolutely. But what do we want to do? If we say let's open up a community center, first and foremost, we're not going to get any funds from the city, because they're not going to give us any funds. And then we're going to have a bunch of motherfuckers want to argue about how it should be operated.
Yeah, because we're going to get told it got to be for everybody. See, Latinx,
no, fuck that.
See, Latinx ain't be. No, I'm just telling, because this is the stuff I seen when Brother Roberts. I only can speak on what I know. When he was trying to get, for his fishing trip, getting grant money and everything. Right. I remember the time when I was back there with him. I don't want to say the young lady name because I don't want to piss nobody off. Yeah. But she be around here. She moves around with the downtown people. You know what she told him? It can't be just for black. It got to include all. That's why when I be looking back then, when I see Latinx, I'm like, do they say that got to include all?
No, it's not gonna say it got to include all.
But it's a different thing when it comes to us.
And see, the sad part for us is, now, okay, so you went to the city council and the city council said no. Now, okay, because it's got to be for everybody. How about and once again, same person, Brother Roberts, it's cold as hell. No church opens their doors. But who opened their doors? McCree Theater, Mr. Charles Winfrey. Open the doors. Open the door. The only thing you got to do is stay there with the people. Now, I don't know whether I was at home, but normally Brother Roberts would have sent me a message. Right? Mm-hmm. I might not have been home, but at the same time,
I thought you was out of town.
I think I was out of town when that happened.
You was out of town, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's the psychological war that we bought into being here in this country. You mean to tell me, okay, I'm coming to you to do something for my community, and I can't do it because you're telling me it's got to be for everybody? But white folks go fishing on their own. They don't say, they don't invite black people fishing. They don't do that. Latinx didn't say we're going to invite black people to come and learn Spanish. And I know a teacher over there that's black. And she ain't as far as I know. I don't know if she's one of the teachers, but she speak. I was like, man, I need you to teach me Spanish. Mm-hmm. And she was really good at it. Sound the inflections and everything. But I don't know if she's over there in that community center teaching or where she's at. But at the same time, it's always we have to include everybody else. We can't do anything by our own. Why? Because every law, even the loitering law, remember the signs that used to be up, you can't, no loitering? That's for black folks.
Yeah.
Why? Because y'all might be planning something against the system, so we can't sit there and have y'all stand there. When young men in the 40s and 50s started doo-wop groups, break it up, y'all can't go on. We just standing under the street light singing by a barrel to stay warm because we ain't got nothing else to do. Nope, go on about your way. Then guess what? Folks on the opportunity to capitalize on the talent, and they did so. And now we're all of those black institutions other than Motown, which made all of these young people money. Stax is gone. All these other places gone, right?
Look at Beatrice Foods. Look at Johnson & Johnson. Look at all the stuff they gonna take.
Beatrice Foods, bro.
Yeah, they. And I was watching when he was breaking it down. Even talked about look how they took Def Jam from Russell Simmons.
Yeah,
they gonna take your stuff eventually.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. At what point in time? So Reginald Lewis, I want to say that was his name, that had Beatrice Foods. He was married to a lady that was either Taiwanese or from Thailand or from Korea, one of the two. And they turned Beatrice Foods into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Mm-hmm. And then when he gets sick and passes, she ended up selling it. Right?
The machine oil?
Yeah. All of the stuff that we own now owned by somebody else, because we end up, once we get but see, here's the other part. There are many people, because we are very clear that racist institutions weren't going to allow us to partake in. That's the reason why I got black ski clubs, right? Whites, what you doing out here? And why are you here? Right? The very first so-called meeting, they called it a summit, in 1973 took place in Aspen. They had to call a National Guard out for 20 or 30, maybe 50 black men and women who were on a mountain skiing. 1973. And you had to call a National Guard out to make sure nothing happened. It was in 1973.
No, I seen what you said, Chris Caleb. No, I agree with you. But you know what we lack? How you gonna have a business? You trying to build something, you don't have a military.
And
anybody can come in and want to take it.
And want to take it. And that's the when we're talking about building community, mm-hmm. This is what I'm talking about. And y'all, I don't see no thumbs up. Y'all, come on,
hit that
man.
like button. Y'all, come on, hit that like button. I'm Brother Elliott cooking this morning.
We don't have community, so we don't have a way to protect it. We don't have trust, which is the biggest thing, because I have to trust you until you show me that I can't trust you.
Facts. No, facts.
And then what's the consequence for you breaking the trust of the family? And it should be one.
It gotta be rude.
Okay, it's gotta be one. So so us arguing about ideology is irrelevant. Well, I'm right, you're wrong. I don't care nothing about you're right for you. But guess what I need you to be right for? What part of what you believe in, how you live, it's gonna be what's necessary to liberate a group of people that are still enslaved on a plantation. Mm-hmm. When Yahweh ben Yahweh took people from 95 families and people from Chicago and they moved to Israel. Israel gave them a little unarable plot of land in order. And now guess what? They don't want to be Israelis, don't want to be bothered. Yeah. Because you started to become self-sufficient, and only need like 2 or 3% of materials from Israel, because you become self-sufficient. Now you want to apply sanctions, and now you want to do this, and you want to do all of this other stuff and everything else, because now you're self-sufficient. You don't need us anymore. Meanwhile, at the beginning of when you moved over here in 68, you needed us. Now you don't need us anymore. And see, this is the whole thing. We're talking about what happened to Flint on the south side. We're talking about Black Bottom and Paradise Alley in Detroit. We're talking about Tulsa. We're talking about Hayti. We're talking about Rosewood. We're talking about the other 60 small cities that we developed near cities that were self-sufficient because we weren't spending our money with them. And then it becomes completely unnecessary when we become integrated, when we want to fight for integration because we want to have the same thing and the same rights as everybody else. Now we lost everything. We had our own schools who are outperforming every other school. We had our own banking system. We had our own clinics because we were forced to. We were much better off when we were segregated than we were when we got integration. We lost jobs when we had jobs. And the school, Clark School, back over here, but they just tore it down a few years ago. Back over there by where the Golden Leaf is, that whole empty lot, that was a school there. From the janitor to the principal, everybody in there was black. There was probably a few white students that went over there because of the area or whatever. I don't remember because I was like 3 or 4 when they closed it. But there was no Head Start. Well, you was in kindergarten. You was in the first, right in. There wasn't no Head Start to teach you how to learn your alphabet and your numbers. Shit, you did that at home.
Why did they have to do a housing that?
Well, because they wouldn't allow us. You couldn't go, this being a sundown town, you couldn't go past Saginaw Street. Certain areas, St. John's and Industrial, as far as black folks could go. My parents wanted to buy a house over here off of Court Street. And they told them no, because your kind don't belong over here.
Yeah, see, people don't see. They forget this part about Flint. They act like it's gone.
Man, please.
They act like that part about Flint gone. That's why you can look at it right now and see a predominantly black city with poor whites. Why you think this city's the water not fixed? See, they think downtown is Flint. See, they don't think the north of the Flint River is Flint. They think downtown. That's why when I be going to them different meetings that they be having around here.
Oh, Lord, and I can't wait till May 2nd, God. Oh,
yeah, and like I said, even with the blacks that's running the organization, they against us.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
you
be
know
honest
why?
with y'all. Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go. No, you tell us why. Go on.
They are against. I'm telling y'all, I have all I do is, but I try to rationalize with it.
Can't rationalize insanity.
Yeah, in fact, no, I ain't gonna lie. I try to rationalize with it, but because this why I be rationalized with it when I be like, this person getting paid. The first thing they're gonna do is take their job if they say something, or they're gonna cut their money up. That's how they really controlling a lot of the blacks that's in these places. Yep.
Because you're, once again, what we say before, you think just because you sit there, you got power. You don't have any power. You don't have any power.
Do something for your people and see what you got.
Man, what? Once again, we want to take little African children fishing, but you got to include everybody. But you don't tell the Latin community over there when they come and ask for money, you got to teach everybody Spanish. Because I have my ass over there. And I want some tacos and some, where's that, Doritos, that pop that they drink. I want all of that. And I'm not trying to be funny, but why not?
This was crazy. Do you see any of them other nationalities coming into like Woods?
I'm going to say this one more time. Hell no.
Do they coming in Tasty Woods?
We do.
Is they coming into the black places? This just show you, but we shop with everybody. Don't though.
See, but that's the insanity of integration. It's everybody else's stuff is colder and better than ours, right? You say it all the time. You say it all. That's your phrase. Their ice is colder than ours, but we made ice. We created the idea of ice. We made the refrigerator. How in the world? And a refrigerator truck. Meanwhile, back in the day, folks would dig a pit and put big old ice blocks in it from the river in order to keep stuff cool until the ice formed again. But black man created the refrigerator truck.
Even in our madness, we know how to create civilization. Just think about it. These people coming off the plantation when they didn't even want you reading or writing. That's what I'm saying. The creative civilization is in you, but they got us so drugged up and beat up and so confused, we don't know how to bring it out.
But you know why? Because we're arguing about who's right. I can't wait till you tell when you set that up and we had the brothers come on here. Fine, bro. I don't care. I don't give a shit about your ideology. I don't give a shit about how you living. But what I want you to do is we are going to talk about, and I'm going to make you stay on how we can rebuild our communities. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to talk about. If it gets off into what your beliefs is, I'm redirecting you. If you can't stay redirected and focused on this, then we'll catch you the next time. Because I don't care nothing about your beliefs. Once you walk in this door and that door closed and you sit down, this is what we're talking about. Let's be very clear. You're not here campaigning for the Nation of Islam. You're not campaigning we're campaigning for the liberation of African people. What's your ideas about how we do that? That's it. See, that's the thing. That's the reason why we have I don't believe like you believe no more because God gave me some new shit to believe. Man, get the fuck out of here.
No, I don't. Only thing is, like I say, I want to bring them because I want to get all what we, like I say, I don't want to talk about what we disagree on. I want to talk about what we agree on.
That's my point.
Like right now, the main thing in Flint, water. You seeing people down. How can we help our people that's coming up with all these different things? Like, how can we get them on the same track?
Right.
Because we're not gonna get them on whoever, whatever you subscribe to. I'm just gonna be honest. We all already gonna come with our own misnomers on whoever come with what they believe in.
Right.
My thing is, what can we agree upon? Let's work. Let's get to work on that.
And that, once again, that's the reason why when we do the Citizens Council, don't come with facts. Come with how can we? What are we going to do in order to improve the information that people receive, because they're not receiving it from the people who run the wards. They're not receiving anything. So, and there's a few people that, with your permission, we can talk more, outside of the shows of that might want to come. Because one brother was talking about running for mayor or whatever. But let them come on and let them talk. I don't care. That's up to you. I'm gonna let you.
My thing is this. I never have. Like I said, we was just doing this to help the people to get the residents really to help the candidates for the people can see who they were. It was no big thing. Like my thing was, it didn't just have to be on here. You could have went on my Reese Davis show. You could have went. You supposed to use every platform that you get because you're not just governing. You know what I'm saying? When you want to. It's just me. I would think you would want the people to see who you is. But what I done ran into is a lot of stuff that we done ran into. People want the question. I'm not part of that friends, brothers, and in-laws clique. Let me just tell you that. I'm not going to give you no questions beforehand.
No, you got to sit here and be raw about the questions like everybody else. Yeah. It's like the person that they said they were, we were talking about, and I got a chance to meet him. Randy Yele, and he's a small statured man or whatever, but I had a chance to talk to him, and he's talking about running for 4. He don't have an issue with coming on, and I didn't tell him what we gonna talk about, but it's not about attacking anybody. It's about what did I say before? And I need y'all to understand this and pass this on to those people who consider to be leaders. If you're going to lead, you're a servant. You cannot be a good leader and not serve. Because we're going to be okay with you taking the cream off the top as long as you're spreading the butter. But if you're not spreading the butter on nothing, then that's where it becomes a problem. Because then you're not a leader. Because leaders serve. And if you want to sit around there, and let's use y'all's lovely story of Jesus, right? Where during the Last Supper, he washed the feet of his disciples? Somewhere wrong in there, something like that. Y'all church folk that know that better.
I'm not for sure.
Okay,
I mess up a lot anyway. Yeah,
well, because the story is, but he served people. He served people.
He was a revolutionary if you really study him.
That's what I'm saying. He was
beefing with the Roman government,
right?
And the Jews at that time,
who are heretics.
Yeah, he was calling them out,
right?
So, in his day.
But if he washed the feet of the people who were around him, who were supposedly becoming believers, even though he had a traitor in the midst, and he knew that. He was clear about that because we always will, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to understand, trust, and believe that folks, when we were put on a plantation, they used that as well to put that in the mind of somebody to always go and find a way to sell out our institutions or sell out what we do. And even in here, when we start, there's going to be somebody who's going to be a sellout who's going to go back and report. But I'm telling you right now, the only thing we're doing is trying to inform people. Ain't nobody trying to overthrow no government. Ain't nobody trying to do none of that stuff. It's about getting information to people so people can have a better quality of life. That's it. And I'm telling you what it's about. Now, if you want to come in and go report that, then tell them to come and join too. Just if they report, you go report them, come and join so they can help. But if they're going to oppose that, which they will, because as long as you keep the giants asleep, as long as you keep the giants uninformed, then guess what? You can control them. We talk about you put a chain on the ankle of an elephant and then turn it around and take it and put tie a ribbon on it
when it's an adult.
When it's grown, and it'll still think it's in bondage.
And that's what they have done to us, but we don't see it like we and that's what I'm saying. So like when you seeing this thing, that's why I'll be like, don't get me wrong. I get what the people saying about the immigration, about the people they bringing in, but this is my thing with this. At the end of the day, we got enough fights on our own. But look who the people who mad at the people with immigration. Who the ones out there they moving in? Who's the ones mad? At one time, we was the ones they were saying they don't want us coming to their schools. We don't want them. They don't want us in their neighborhoods. I can pull them videos up for you. I got them on my Facebook page every day. I'll be putting them up.
Yeah.
For people just to see. But see, they don't want this history out there where you can talk about that.
But that's the reason why they're trying to legislate history. But they can legislate it all they want to. Yeah. If we let it die, that's on us.
Sure it is.
If we let it die, that's on us. If we continue to allow our children to be murdered, that's on us.
No, we supposed to be demanding. I just think what we mess up at, where the beef come in, that is that you got some who like how this thing is going, and we got to accept that.
Yeah, absolutely, because they get paid for it.
We got ones amongst us who love how this thing was going on. Because I'm telling you, brother, I did not see only one woman spoke up, and I'm putting myself in that. I didn't say nothing when that Chris Frey told that woman to swallow the mic.
Man, Jesus, man, bro, what the? You just pissed me off again.
And then him taking the mic from Claire McClendon when she was introducing herself, for he can go cut beeline right to the former Judge Beagle. I'm not saying Beagle told him to do this, but this is the stuff.
That ain't how Beagle operate from what I know.
Right,
about it.
But this is how the stuff you know what I'm saying. Even him taking the mic from Claire McClendon is disrespectful. But see, this is the type of our people will partner up with these type of people or these type of organizations. Because I didn't hear nothing from the League of Women, and them was two women that was disrespected.
No, of course not. What are they gonna say? Because they're sitting at the table trying to get something. So it's okay for you. As much as we hear women talk about, oh, I support my sister and women's rights and this and that and other, just let some woman get told to suck it.
Yeah, they don't support that. They
lie. You sitting at the table looking for money for your organization or for whatever it is that you're doing. So you're gonna let two women get disrespected by an older white dude who really what he got to lose? Nothing. But I promise you, if he do it again, or just because we heard about it, I'm getting put out the meeting on the second.
Oh, he gonna be on this best behavior. How much money you want to put on it? They probably scrambling right now. The blacks and got together. He might get one that told them, "Don't show up. You just sit this one out."
That's okay. We'll wait till he show up.
Yeah, because I already see. Don't get me wrong. I see how our people act.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Don't. Right, Yogi G, pay complacency. That's just what this is. You know what?
I'm on the wrong one. I'm not getting them over here. I just got a telephone thing over here.
Oh, yeah, because I don't know. The other one wasn't letting it come in.
Oh, okay.
That's I'm on the same one you on right here.
But I ain't getting up. See,
I'm on the same one you.
Wait a minute. I might have to get on my telephone.
Yeah, it won't let me. It won't let me.
Notifications.
Yeah, I don't know what they doing.
Hold on. What we do? I love y'all, man. When y'all making comments and I can't see them.
Yeah, nah, and I get what you're saying, Chris Caleb, but they do because them other races gonna stick together. See, we'll fall out with each other. You can see it now.
Yeah, no, we'll always fall out with each other because it's better to fall out with each other than it is to stick together. Like I said, I don't care if you and I got beef about a point.
Yeah.
That's your view. That's how I get it. And I'm so. What did Malcolm say? This is what we don't get. He said, when you became conscious and you went through all of this fire and everybody's not where you are, you can't condemn the person that just started to get a flicker.
Facts.
I can't sit around here, one person read, or you just read, that's all you read is book, Destruction of Black Civilization. Only you got all these other books to read to catch up with me. No. But I'll help guide you. But I'm not going to dog you out because you only read one book. But once I see that you turned your actions around, that's all I need. I'm straight. You on the path now. You there now. And I don't care nothing about you going to church. But if your people ain't talking about liberation and that person ain't talking about I'm only taking care of the flock that feed me, that's some bullshit. And you got to know that.
But this how they didn't have us trained because that's why
that's the issue. The training.
Yeah, we've been trained, conditioned not to trust each other.
Right.
Like it's on one. I forgot. I think I played it. I know they're gonna get mad. Well, you had it was in the paper. I forgot. I put it up on one of the shows where they had show you the racism. They didn't want the blacks to buy with each other. This was what the Jewish community. They didn't want the blacks to buy with each other. They wanted them to spend with. It was like, are y'all serious?
Yeah.
Like this is some of the stuff that we go through. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if we speak, if we show little instances where how we getting did wrong. Oh,
we wrong. Well, what are you crying for?
Yeah.
You guys are crying because we're giving you so many opportunities to be just like us.
And I'll give you
we're not like you.
Right. And I'll give you another example. Like now they mad at the Somalians right now. Somalis right now. They mad at them saying welfare fraud. I mean, they was doing all this type of fraud, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all wasn't mad at Brett Favre when he schemed welfare fraud,
right? What was it, like $2 or $5 million or something?
Y'all wasn't mad at Brett Favre.
You know, they're not gonna be mad at Brett Favre because he's a good old white boy. So here's the other part about the Somalis. When you meet most Somali people, and they look, and as an African man here, they look at us like they look at us like we Europeans. But this is a learned behavior.
Yeah.
This is a learned behavior. Hey man, we just gonna, come on. And here's the thing, even with that, I may not ever fully be part of a culture but that doesn't mean I don't want to learn. But the other part about that is I can teach you something too.
We can all learn from each other.
And that's what we're supposed to do. I'm not going to argue with you about the Nation of Islam. I want to see how you're living. If I'm seeing you do community work, that's fine. If that got you to that, fine. If there's a person who follow Reverend Ike and that got you to be helping people in community, fine. If there's a person listening to whatever, Reverend or whatever, as long as that got you to doing community work. But if you're doing community work for other people, not your own. So then if we're Latinx, and I'm going to use that, has its own, they're their own entity over on the east side, right? Why are we begging still for somebody to do that for us? There's plenty of buildings around here that we could put a few dollars together, leverage and buy, and start our own.
Yeah, that's what
it's that simple.
No, that's why I'm gonna be part of your organization because that's what I want to do. Because I'm seeing ain't no blacks down there representing that.
No, and so therefore, then if when this starts, and we're talking about the 25th, right? Okay, when this starts, 6 o'clock or 5.
That's
5
Saturday,
better,
right?
Just a Saturday.
No, we now if y'all want, we could do it we can do it at 3. However you want to do it.
Well, it's fine with me because I'm free.
I'm free. Yeah,
I just need to know if people gonna show up.
May 25th, right?
No. April.
April 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that at most definitely.
And we'll do it down there with the brother spot. Because I like it. You know, people ain't got to drink if you don't want to drink it. They serve alcohol down there. They also have food. So we want to start because information is power. Okay? Information is power.
Mm-hmm.
And if we start informing each other, then we can go ahead on. Let's go ahead and, you know, I know somebody that might say, hey, look, I got a building, or I know of a building that y'all can work at getting, and then go from there. Because then what the fuck they gonna tell us? No, fuck you. We don't care. Because guess what? We got our own shit. We're taking care of our own thing. We're doing our own thing. So what you going? We can't do our own thing? So now you're gonna call the lording laws? Well, then guess what? You might end up with a massive lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you're going to end up with a massive lawsuit.
Right.
Because if you let them do something over there and you tell us we can't, or if you say, hey, we want a few, then we okay. So if Brother Roberts come and say, we got you. Take here's $10,000, go take the kids fishing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, talking about we got to go beg somebody to do something for us. And that's part of the problem. Why they never taught 25 years abused kids?
That Gene Davis.
I think I know who this is. Because there's a brother that used to come around when we had a group called Conscious Minds. If that's who it is, he was driving trucks, and I haven't seen him in a few years.
Yeah. I mean, we do. I mean, see, we think sex trafficking just started like 10, 20 years ago.
They go do back sex to the trafficking right now over whenever a rich man, okay, y'all watch them videos where you see these rich white boys go over to a different country on a business trip, and then they mess and they buy little girls. Y'all have seen them all. I saw it when I was in Senegal. Old French white dude with this young girl. And she wasn't a woman, she was a girl. And it pissed me off. Oh man, you can't say no. Why not? Because he French? You mean tell me it's okay for him to sleep with this girl? Because that's what he paying her for. And then we wonder talking about AIDS over here and this over here and COVID over there and this.
See, that's even going to Cuba. When they're talking about Cuba, do y'all know what Cuba was like before when Batista was running it?
Right, before Castro.
Yeah, boom, Batista. But it was all right when you had the rich people, when it was their little getaway. It was all right. When you go look at this stuff, let me put this in.
Who is this clown talking some crazy shit over here? Bro.
He just, you know.
Okay, bye, dude. Get out of here.
Yeah, he just, let me play this video, though, because I do want to put this up that you sent me. Let me put this up for the people. Yeah. You ready to get off into this?
Yeah, might as well. Let's go.
Yeah, let me go and hit this.
Switched to Iraqi oil sales to euros, called it sovereignty. 3 years later, the invasion happened. Oil was back to dollars within months. You can draw your own conclusions. Then 2022, Western sanctions forced 5 million barrels a day of Russian crude off dollar rails overnight. Russia now settles 67% of its oil in yuan. India pays for Russian crude in dirhams. Saudi Arabia let that 1974 framework expire quietly in June 2024 without renewal. The plumbing of a non-dollar oil market wasn't being planned, it was being built. Then Iran blew the door off. When the US and Israel struck Iran on February 28th, Iran didn't just close the strait militarily, it monetized it. Chinese tankers allowed through. Payment condition yuan only, $2 million per voyage. Cleared through
Hey, family, my
CIPS.
bad. Let me start it
China's
from the
payment
beginning for
system.
y'all can catch
No
what we're
SWIFT,
saying.
no New York bank, no American oversight. Iran, that's the surface layer. This war is about who controls the price of oil, in whose currency, and who gets to sanction whom for stepping out of line. Since 1974, one deal wired the entire global economy: Kissinger and Saudi Arabia. No formal treaty, just an understanding. Oil gets priced in dollars. Full stop. Every country on earth that needs energy must first acquire dollars to buy it. That permanent structural demand for dollars funds the US deficit, underwrites US military supremacy, and lets Washington sanction any country it wants by cutting them off the dollar rates. One handshake, 50 years of financial dominance. That system has been eroding for a decade, though. 1973, Arab nations cut oil supply to punish America for backing Israel. Price quadrupled. Gas lines. Dollar was declared dead. Kissinger flew to Riyadh and turned the crisis into the architecture itself. Then came the year 2000. Saddam Hussein switched Iraqi oil sales to euros, called it sovereignty. 3 years later, the invasion happened. Oil was back to dollars within months. You can draw your own conclusions. Then 2022. Western sanctions forced 5 million barrels a day of Russian crude off dollar rails overnight. Russia now settles 67% of its oil in yuan. India pays for Russian crude in dirhams. Saudi Arabia let that 1974 framework expire quietly in June 2024 without renewal. The plumbing of a non-dollar oil market wasn't being planned, it was being built. Then Iran blew the door off. When the US and Israel struck Iran on February 28th, Iran didn't just close the strait militarily, it monetized it. Chinese tankers allowed through. Payment condition yuan only, $2 million per voyage. Cleared through CIPS. China's payment system. No SWIFT, no New York bank, no American oversight. Iran has exported 11.7 million barrels to China since war began, all in yuan, settled through infrastructure America cannot freeze, cannot monitor, cannot shut down. The US naval blockade is the countermove. Cut off Iranian ports, starve the war machine of oil revenue, signal to every country in the global south that the cost of switching currency rails is regime change. Venezuela was doing the same thing, selling oil outside the dollar in yuan. Trump took out Venezuela and Iran within weeks of each other. This is not a coincidence. But the move came too late. The infrastructure is already built. Iran just handed China the opportunity to accelerate it. Kissinger built the system to survive oil shocks. He didn't build it to survive the oil moving in someone else's currency. The dollar's most dangerous enemy isn't a weapon, it's a toll booth. Everyone is covering this.
Now we back.
So now you understand the reason why. So if we study Henry Kissinger, and if we still gonna stay on talking about what we need to, you know, if we study Henry Kissinger was either he was Jewish, and he was
from Eastern Europe, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was from Eastern Europe, but he was also the Secretary of State for several presidents. Nixon, notably, up until his resignation, and then a few other presidents after that. So he was a president's Secretary of State for a long time. And he instituted these policies in the 70s. So when we had the gas crisis in 73, where we went from these big old muscle cars, these little bitty 2-cylinder, 3-cylinder, 4-cylinder cars, that was the reason why there was an oil crisis. It wasn't an oil crisis based upon the lack of oil, because I'm going to tell you again, and I keep trying to explain this to you all. The United States has a 200-year store of oil in its reserves. So new oil is not necessary, it's not needed. Plus, if we go back to what we talked about before, how General Motors and Opel cars helped the German regime by because Germany is landlocked. So how in the world do you have airplanes and tanks running on gas and oil without and you don't have reserves to pull from the ground? So General Motors and Opel cars, OPEL cars, which was built in Germany and sold here in America, created artificial gas and artificial oil so that those airplanes and those tanks could move and those rockets could fly. Okay, so you've had this technology, but you go over here and you create something else. Now, you can go to your local auto store and find synthetic oil on any shelf. Why do you need to still worry about? Why would you worry about the Strait of Hormuz if you already have the technology to do that? But you had electric cars, not this Tesla shit. You had electric cars built in the 40s and 50s that would run for 2,000 or 3,000 miles, if my memory serves me right. Plugged into 120, not this new shit. Because they wasn't talking about 240 too much unless you worked, or 220 too much unless you worked somewhere where it was heavy, or you was near a power plant where you can run a line from the power plant or from the towers or whatever, or transistor, however they do it. Because I don't mess with electricity like that. I'll do everything else. But how do you have this technology that you've had all of these years? So it's not necessary to live on the world's oil when you can produce in the lab, right? There's a young black man that he's scared for his life and they're trying to get rid of because he took plastic, which is an oil derivative, and turned it back into oil and gas that could be used to run a car.
Because, brother, why did Kanye get in trouble?
Opening his mouth, same reason.
When he wanted to say, when he went to talking about Louis Vuitton, Adidas, remember, he's like, no, I want to do my own. He didn't want to be up under nobody. You can't go against their program. Why you think when they went at Suge Knight, Murder Inc., remember, they want to have their own distribution company.
Right.
You can't have your own distribution company. They're going to tell you, nigga, you going to go where we tell you. We own the stores. We're going to put them in our Walmarts. We're gonna go to our places. You're going to go to our radio station. Yeah. This is really what it is when you try to, they let you know every time.
Yep,
all You're not finna do it. What's that movie they had with the bankers with it was damn, what's his name? The two black dude.
I remember. I know you talking about
Samuel L. Jackson
and the dude who played
Kevin Mackey.
Yeah. I mean, they bought
and they had to get the white dude to front the stuff. Did y'all listen to the story? Now, let me rewind this back, take y'all back to the Flint water crisis. Who did they say they had to make the face of it? Melissa Mays.
Yeah, white girl, right? White girl, not. She ain't even.
But I'm just saying,
live in an area where the water was
the banker. Right. That's the name of the movie. Just think about it. But who did they have to put on the face of it?
Yeah.
Now them was two different eras.
Yeah.
The Banker was a movie back in the 40s, 50s, and 50s.
Yeah.
And this was in the 2000s. Let that sink in for a minute. What you have to do for you can get the appeal of the masses. That's why what happened, and I don't want to keep bringing that. What happened to the Mitchell boys, to them beautiful babies? What happened to them? Then what happened to the ones that happened in Detroit where the Red Ring celebrated them, and they did all this because one is black and one is white. Right. We just don't want to, we can't admit to that. Just when you heard your mayor say, hey, I can't fire them white cops. You know why? Because I ain't going to mess up my voting base. This mayor tell Nick Rose every day where he's staying at, but you know what we supposed to do? We got to honor, you know what? Oh, he a good dude. He tell y'all that's no different than that was the health navigator. You know why she probably didn't, if she did say something, I don't know, because I'm going to keep talking about it to the people, because I really want to see the blacks who run it, what they going to say to my man Chris Frey. Have they said something to him? Or is they gonna be like, well, we can't say nothing because we don't want to mess up our money?
Most of the time they're gonna not say anything because they don't. And see, this is my for me. I'm not sure whether we want to work at volunteer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then once you take money, people gonna tell you what you can and cannot do.
Facts.
Right. And if you're independent, then you can kind of, this is the reason why, even though you say, well, 250 million, I'm out of here. No, 250 million, you're going to keep your ass right here. We got work to do.
Oh, for sure.
You know, you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Because hey, you just want to be able to have some comforts and some other stuff. But unfortunately, the other part about that is the more comfortable we are, the less work we do.
Facts.
Okay.
Facts.
So if we're independent or we can get people to back us, but hey, we ain't got you're not pulling tabs, you're not telling us what to do.
Yes.
And you might be, okay, well, what's your view? But if the view doesn't align with the ideology, then keep your money. Or we'll take your money and we'll fake the whatever, but we still gonna do what's necessary. That's the whole point of the exercise anyway. That's the whole point of the exercise.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think they keep trick? See, that's the trick where they have us. That's no different than when you see these people who, I ain't gonna say the individuals who voted for Trump, but they use the excuse, he's a good Christian. He didn't win and sat up here and mock y'all, but mock Jesus, and it's like, and battling with the Pope.
People look at titles and not character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People look at titles and not character. Well, he a good Christian, but he stole $200,000 from the church.
Right.
Okay, but how's that a good Christian?
Right. That's what they use. He a good Christian. You see, sit up here, it's like,
and that means you don't know who Christ is.
Right. But they don't even know, man. They've been tricked. They think they fooled us. Even they've been tricked. This is how you know when they read the Bible, they don't believe in it.
No, hell no.
They don't even
got. You don't read it in the first place.
Right. And I'm saying the ones who do read it, but do you understand it? They just reading it from cover to cover, and not do you understand what's it like? I mean, because like I said, you had some people believe in life started with Adam and Eve.
Right.
When Cain slew Abel, them supposed to be the first two people, right? Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Had Cain and Abel.
It's the first two people according to this story.
In the history. But
because wasn't it called back in the day? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Go ahead.
Then there was a movie that used to come out back in the 60s and 70s before the 10 Commandments. And it was called The Greatest Story Ever Told. And it was come on television. Listen to the title. The Greatest Story Ever Told.
When you break down history. His story.
Is in it. And people, and what do they say? If the lion got the gun, he tells the tale of the victor different.
Right.
So if the lion get a chance to get the hunter, when he go back to the pride, he gonna tell the story. Hey man, I fucked that motherfucker up. He was walking around here, his ass was at the river, and his ass wasn't paying attention. I popped his ass. But if the lion get caught by the hunter, what he gonna go tell his boys? Well, I was down there by the river, and that motherfucker turned around. He was getting ready to jump, and I popped his ass. You're going to get two different stories depending upon who's winning.
Yeah.
So my thing is, we don't give a shit what they try to outlaw. If you do your studies and those studies out there, go ahead, put it up there. There we go.
I got to put it up here.
You got to put it up there. Okay. So, and you get two different versions of the book, right? Mine written in 1922, kind of gives... doesn't make Constantine sound like he really was. Right. He was a fucking murderer.
Right,
and this is the one that started your Roman Catholic Church by murdering 2,500 people in order to take the information, turn it into a book, and consolidate Rome's power at the Vatican.
And why did they have to? Because even in this, and you know what some Christian scholars will tell you, they will argue with you. I mean, not the Christian scholars, the people in the church. Even on the birth of Jesus, they had to agree with this. That's why you got the different. But you have the black man. I'm gonna just tell you who will fight harder for this book than the ones who wrote it. The black man and woman will fight you through thick and thin because we've been so indoctrinated. And if you go even like you say, if we go back to the olden writings of it, And they were still, Well, who did you get it from?
It written in stone.
And they're still saying,
They'll still say it's wrong,
right.
because this paper means more. This new book that I just picked up for $80 over at the bookstore, this new book means more than, and it's only 2,000 years old, this story.
Yeah.
They're more, this book means more than 170,000 years or 1.7 million years of history, of human history, starting in El Kebalan, which they call Africa. 2,000 years to 1.7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make that make sense. Make the math.
Yeah, I'm seeing what the new. Right, Mike. I agree with you with this.
That's all it is. It's manipulation.
Shows you how easy to manipulate.
Yeah,
people.
It's manipulation and mind control.
Right, right.
There's a book written in 1967, and I see the name. I don't remember the author, called Subliminal Seduction. It might have been 71.
Mm-hmm.
Who talks about how you put, like, we know, we're very clear that sex sells here in America.
Facts.
Okay. We know that if you go to buy a suit, and I used to do this over at J.C. Penney's, man. There used to be a beautiful girl. I don't need no suit. I don't even wear suits like that.
Right.
But because she was fine, guess what I did?
Put a suit on.
I bought me a motherfucking suit. That shit, I knew I didn't want it.
Hey,
man. But when she was in there, it was always, I'm going to go buy a suit. And I was clear about that. So I knew I was on some bullshit. Straight. But I was clear. Because guess what? She fine. I'm coming over here. Smell good, fine. You know, when you put the suit on and she do the extra rubbing on and you feel, what?
Have you read the story of Bathsheba and Solomon sent her man to the front line and get in? See, that's what I'm saying. The things that we would do, you see what Adam and Eve, bite the apple.
But, baby,
we don't supposed to do this.
We ain't supposed to do none of that.
See, them are lessons
but look at
signs.
Samson.
Yeah.
Samson, Delilah. Hey, she knocked him off.
Yeah.
Cut his hair.
Yeah.
And now he got his eyes poked out. And when his hair started to grow, because what'd he do? All because of what?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. But we should be clear about their power. I was, but I still went and bought a suit. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, but it's easy. You can be. That's why they call it a temptress.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, temptress. Right.
Right. Let me say what the brother said right here. This Mike. He said the Catholic religion believes that the Pope is on. Is God on earth as absolutely. A representative, like this vice vicar. If I'm not saying it right. In other words, if the Pope speaks, it represents God speaking through him.
Absolutely.
And you mean to tell me the president said he ain't tough enough on crime? Just think about this.
They don't have no crime in Vatican City when you're the richest city in the fucking world.
This was Trump was saying because the Pope spoke against the war that's going on, and so he mad. Yeah, no facts, Mike. But you know what? That was symbolic though. What about Samson telling Delilah where his strength came from and she cut his hair off? But
what else did Delilah give Samson that made him tell the story?
But if you get off into the meaning, really it was talking about the knowledge, his head.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you could put Delilah, what's going on with a lot of these players who get money like in the NFL. See, when you get off into it, you can see your Delilah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But see, people don't see that.
No,
see,
we don't want to. We don't want to, because the other part about that is who trained them in that behavior.
Right.
Okay, so now if we want to play, we want to follow this. We have to be very clear. Who trained Delilah in that behavior? Who trains our women in this behavior? Mm-hmm. Who trained their women in that behavior? Where what you do? Oh, he got potential to go pro. Hey, go on and holler at him.
And what they doing? What is? And this ain't nothing Mick came up with. I got this from the Nation. I want to say when they say what was it from Honorable Elijah Muhammad when he said the devil last trick was going to be his woman. How is a lot of these brothers getting tricked?
Yeah, well,
what happened to Shannon Sharp?
But listen, because people like shiny things.
Yeah,
I swear to God, I gotta find that video.
Yeah,
people like shiny things. They like shiny things, and so therefore, and this is what they've taught us as well. But using people that should never speak for us, regardless of what they study, because they're not studying political ideology, right? So once again, what did Malcolm say? You put the microphone in front of comics and entertainers, and they telling us what's going on in the black community. Meanwhile, you wouldn't get Larry Bird speak for white community. You wouldn't get Billy Martin, who was a manager of baseball, speak for the white community. Everybody, now, who are you thinking about? They don't even ask them questions, but they constantly ask black athletes and black entertainers questions. Not saying they're not knowledgeable, but then you want to take their word as gospel, and they know. I don't know Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
I remember when Bill Cosby came here, but he wasn't saying shit that we hadn't been saying to these people. It was just because he was a celebrity, you went and run and paid that money over to mine. What did he do? He donated it back, right? Because he didn't need it. But he told y'all the same thing we've been saying. If you listen to anybody who, Dr. George Moss, one of my teachers, we've been saying that.
No, y'all have, but I think what happened was that the road that the blacks was coming on out of that area, you got to think coming from Jim Crow, segregate, coming from all of that. They purposely did, with the help of the FBI, the CIA, they purposely did COINTELPRO.
Absolutely.
Every black organization that came in and wanted to destroy. If you heard, listen, let me say this, and you take it from there. When you had J. Edgar Hoover said, we're going to stop the rise of a black Messiah.
Yep.
Why was that?
Well, because you wasn't going to have, we're going to still have control of the black nation. And the other part about that is what we forget is you pick the leader in order to guide us to the fucking destruction.
But why did they do that?
Malcolm came up through the ranks of it through being in the street. Okay. So when he took a vow of poverty, that meant money wasn't going to sway him from what he was doing. People took care of him because they chose to, but the same people that took care of him are the ones that killed him.
Yeah, if they loved him, so look how it was easy, because you have to think about it. Y'all loved him so much, why y'all didn't make sure people wasn't coming in?
How about if you loved him so much, you don't set him up to be killed in the first place?
No, just and then look what happened to Fred Hampton.
Right, set
up. But you know who be setting them up?
But we do.
Medgar Evers.
So I'm telling y'all right now, what we're talking about is strictly community based.
Right.
So if you come in here on some other shit, you can come in, you're gonna get the same thing. You're gonna, well, this is what they're talking about, this is what they're trying to do. Period. Because I know you're coming.
Oh, facts.
I know you're coming.
Anytime you want to help the less fortunate, they coming for you.
Right.
The reason, you know why the rich man stay rich? Because
everybody, the poor folk go run into him, the fake poor folk go run into him.
Yeah, and then you're going to get people who going to sell out your community. That's when you see, to me, when that 94.7 million came in, I was just mentally, I was like, look at the vultures that's rolling around Flint. That's what you had. You just had people who was trying to get money. And it wasn't so much, the mayor of them got little peanuts. Go look at who got the majority of that 94.7, because he was up here to do a job, and he did it damn well. He doing it damn well. Because if you go look at how the blacks and the poor has been getting beat up on here, he did his job. He doing what he's supposed. Anytime you can hear your governor say, she Flint fatigue, but yet, and I tell people
you Flint fatigue when you're the one, when your previous administration before you is what allowed this shit to happen. It's your job to fix it.
They're in that same system, right? That's why she was easy for her to accept. What's my man name? That was the governor at that time, Snyder. That's why she was able to. When Dr. Weaver went up there, like she said, when she said she had Snyder people. Gretchen Whitmer. This why I do agree with this with Miss Gladys but it goes back to the red man when he said left wing, right wing, same bird.
Same bird, right?
And this is what you're dealing with. All it is the right might give you a love. The right gonna tell you how they feel.
Yep.
The left gonna smile in your face, and we're gonna do this for you,
but not really.
Yeah, because
and then the same bird gonna say, "I'm gonna shit on your car anyway."
Right, right, and that's what like right now. We sitting up here, and I get him. Maurice caught hell for going to ask for the people here, and guess who was on him? The blacks going to ask the people for him going to meet with Trump to say, listen, we need our water fixed. And I'm not saying Trump did it. Let me be honest with you. I'm not saying Trump did it.
But he also can say we can send some resources there for this to be fixed.
Right.
Which is the whole point of the exercise.
Right.
But that goes to show you how much we sell each other. I understand. You know what? I don't know whether this is gonna work or not, but I support you going over there.
Right.
And if I can give a donation to make it happen, I'm gonna give a donation to make it go happen so you can go over there.
But this was no different than when I seen with Mark, but he caught hell. Oh, he this and that. Same thing I looked at when Roland Martin did that to Cube. You remember when Cube, the members calling the platinum package?
Yeah.
But they didn't want to say that it was Dr. Claude Anderson, a renowned
black economist.
Renowned. They came with this. You know, Roland Martin shut it down. Wait till Biden get in office. What happened when Biden got off? Now we hearing about, you had Kamala Harris down there because you've seen the young people call Al Sharpton out at that NAND thing.
Right.
Now you got Kamala Harris talking about tangible. Why, when blacks was telling y'all tangibles 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, we need to get something for our vote? How can you say it now? Oh, so now you finna appeal to that crowd.
But this is what happens when so-called celebrities do some things, or whatever people you want to call them, do some things outside the community. They want to come and be wrapped up back up in the no. Go back over there where you was laying at.
Yeah.
And see, we don't want to do that. It's like I'm gonna say this as a sidebar, right? You got an uncle or an aunt in your family that's on some perverted ass shit. Oh, it's okay. No, the fuck it's not. That motherfucker's gonna get lost in the woods and be tied to a fucking tree and the one put in them. Why not? Why would you not do that? It's okay to have children harmed because of this pervert and not sit around here and say, we just might. Well, who killed him? It was me. Why? Because he did this to my child.
But you know what we be taught? We can't put that out at Uncle Ray or nephew Bud, you know, something wrong. We're gonna get him help. See, they don't want to.
I'm gonna get him some help, all right. We're gonna get him some help.
But see, this goes along with people too that we see. I'll give you an example. When Johnny Cole was able to maneuver around here like that.
Man, when I read more about that, I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Because if you, and the other part about that is, why would you affiliate yourself with somebody who you know is on some bullshit? Man, I'm telling you, I better not ever get blessed with nothing serious. Because guess what? The only time I'm coming out of my house is to come here, go get groceries, and go to work. And if it's enough where I ain't got to go to work, I'll stay around my house and pitter around my house with me and my dogs. I don't know you. Don't come talking about, hey, I think you ain't know the fuck no.
And you're right, Philip Johnson. You talk about the movie. Isn't that what A Time to Kill was about? Facts.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yes, it was. He went, so he raped his daughter and he went and go. Yeah. But that's what's supposed to happen.
But they be allowing this stuff. See, a lot of this stuff came from the plantation.
What I'm saying is, if you have some shit like that happen in your family, I'm not giving Uncle nobody a pass, a little Ray a pass, or whatever. The only pass you getting is how many times I got to shoot your ass. And these are my words, not the words of ATN News Media Group. Because what we're never doing is we're never saying this shit's out of order.
Facts.
And it has to stop. Why are you gonna put it in the hands of authority that been raping your people?
Facts.
At what point in time do we start not to put that group that I was just talking about, those 19 families with the 970 acres they just bought in Florida? Anything that I've researched recently, nothing's come up about anybody doing anything to anybody else, and because they have an agreement. And apparently hopefully that agreement means as well that if we're going to police ourselves, if somebody gets out of order, we're going to deal with it. Every other animal, if I go home, I have a big ass dog. He's a puppy. If I start beating his ass, what do I expect them to eventually do?
Shit, turn on you.
He going to turn on my ass.
That's like with any animal.
He going to turn on me. Because see, I don't do the training of animals to fight or whatever. He's naturally protective anyway.
Right.
This motherfucker weighs 90 pounds. What do I expect him to do if I decide that I'm just going to now turn on his killer instinct by being abusive to him and beating his ass and doing all and making him walk around with weights and chains and all this other shit on that that ain't what his job is. His job is a guard dog.
Right. And then you can't get mad if he turn on you.
That's my fault. Why did you shoot my arm off?
Yeah.
Because you've been beating my ass. And that's not what I came in your life for.
Right.
I came into your life to be part of your family and to watch out. I didn't come into your life, but since you want to do this shit to me, that's what I'm gonna do to you.
And you know they're gonna try to say, oh, they're gonna kill the animal, but they're not gonna look at the cause for the effect.
No.
See, they don't never look at the cause. What created this effect? They don't look at the cause.
No.
That's just like even with the plantation. Oh, the slaves turned on,
brother.
Yeah, they turned on their master. Hell, you look how many kids or relatives they done seen get killed. Grandmama get whipped, and you don't think he was supposed to do nothing? So okay, well maybe
this is the shit that we don't want to deal with, because now that we've accepted Jesus, we've overcome that. But they still killing your children. They're still raping your aunts. They're still beating the shit out of your sister. They're still dogging your mother out. They're still doing the same thing. And see, this is the blinder bullshit that religion gives us.
Yeah, go look at what happened to the brother down in Georgia.
Right.
Kenneth, they still ain't found out
and
who
they
did
not
him.
going to find out because it doesn't matter to them. Or the young man that Kevin Porter brother who was doing what everybody else is doing, but because you're a nice agent and you felt threatened because he turned around with his weapon when he called, that's all it was. You called him. He got his weapon up. He turns around and you shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't, hey man, you know you ain't supposed to be shooting. Oh, okay, my fault. He was just doing what everybody else was doing on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But that shit's okay.
But they justify it.
And of course they're going to always justify that bullshit.
Yeah, because what it is, they do not. And you've been saying, if you go read the Constitution, that's why you can go get into an argument with I'm not saying all, but then the majority, like, well, blacks have to vote on that 25 years. I mean, Congress had to vote on that every 25 years for blacks to have a right to vote. I got into a conversation. I remember Clack had to show Trevor that because a lot of them don't, what it is, they don't see it. See, they don't see it. They get what they hear.
They're blinded by the red, white, and blue and the American, bombs bursting in the air and all this other shit.
Yes.
That's the reason why me and one of my boys got the Black National Anthem. I'm not crying in bed. Motherfucker, I'm bomb bursting in air too.
Yeah.
We listen to that. Oh, we're going to sing you to be, we're going to march and sing. Yeah, okay, you march and sing, and meanwhile we blowing up shit. Make that shit make sense.
And then they take off the third stanza.
Yeah.
They won't take that off.
See? That's that third thing. We did all of this marching and crying and singing. But that third stanza say, look, you mess with me, I'm going to get your ass back.
Yeah, they do stuff. See, we post.
But see, that's us though.
Yeah, we post.
Okay. It's like when you read I Have a Dream, the I Have a Dream speech, fuck that part. Go to the beginning.
Yeah.
Read the beginning when he's talking about the 100 years since this and us and how America's done this and how this is when he started to wake up a little bit.
Yeah. But it was too late.
It was too late.
Yeah, when he went
then when he did in 65, 60, 68, when he was fully awake, 67 when he thought he was going to go to Chicago and change some shit in Chicago, and then white folks showed him what that meant. Now, and then in 67, what did he say? I fear I have led us into a burning house.
Yeah, when he seen it, I think, to be honest with you, and I don't even go on some of the things I don't want. I think after he had sat down with Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he seen.
Oh, he had to.
Yeah, he seen.
He saw some error of his way.
And I think that's
Malcolm too.
Yeah, and I think that's where the government really went to, like, hold on.
Yeah, because guess what?
Yeah.
They don't want to have a bunch of organizations to get together to do something for us.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you got them? You got the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
You got now the Black Panthers is coming up, and that's England in 66.
Yeah.
And you got the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
The Deacons of Defense. Remember, he started changing his ways. Martin King started. He started dealing with the revolutionaries.
He started to get a little bit more radical. But what Stokely Carmichael and them brothers from the SNCC was like, look, we're not doing that nonviolent shit with you no more.
Yeah.
Because that nonviolence has got nothing but killed even more. Mm-hmm. We're not doing that no more. This is how we're going to do it. They want revolution. This is how we're going to bring it.
Yeah, because power only respect power.
That's it. That's it.
Power only respect power. I don't know what people understand. Power only respect power.
My dog is a puppy. He's a year old. He's still got another year before hopefully God help me matures. But if I wrestle with him, he's gonna show me what he can do. And it's gentle, but it's enough. I'm like, oh shoot. By him being an oppressor, they heavy. Even though he don't weigh, just their bones are dense, right? So when he jump up on me, he gonna move me. I'm not trying to get in no fight with him. If I do, I'm gonna gotta shoot him and kill him. Because he not gonna do wrestling, and if it gets serious, I got a beast. And he's a pup. So what then?
No facts. I agree with you.
But what they done with us is they made us docile and become lapdogs.
And that's what they want to do. Why you think when you see media, they don't want to show the strong image of the black man. They want to give
guess
you.
Who said that in 1987 before they killed him? Huey P. Newton. Dr. Huey P. Newton said that on Sally Jesse Raphael. He said, anytime you don't show the image of a black man as a slave, but the image of a black man as a black man, you want to destroy that image. And that's exactly what they're doing.
And all you gotta do is go watch them all on TV. When you see
it's on TV.
Look at the image of the man they want to put out.
You either wear a dress, you soft. Like the reason why James Evans was killed on Good Times was because he wasn't standing for shit where they were standing at. So what did they do? They killed him off.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying, new one. She said MLK's To America speech.
Yeah.
So you
go ahead on, baby.
So they killed him because he said, we are coming to get the check.
Yep. And that was after he wrote the letters from Birmingham prison that told when white clergy person was telling them, y'all gotta wait. He was like, no, we're not waiting no more.
Yeah.
So he was beginning to come out of that, let's follow the same idea as Gandhi, because when Gandhi called him a nigga, that's because it was a problem too.
And they don't want to admit.
And they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about that about Gandhi.
Yeah, Gandhi was racist.
Yeah, Gandhi was racist as hell, and he didn't want to. They don't want to put that in the media,
right? About
Gandhi being this way, because then you have 27 million people who are following this ideology, trying to, or whatever, and they walking right into what we need them to walk into. Because now we get 100% of our income and 95% of our 98% of theirs.
Facts.
And that's at the end of the day, that's what we have to stop being on. It's about racism and money. Racism, sexism, and money. That's all. This bullshit over there. If you can make synthetic oil in the 40s so that planes and tanks and cars in Germany by General Motors and Opel Motors can operate, then there's no way you need oil from over the Strait of Hormuz. You just want the resources because you want to. Or you want to make sure that if they change their money, which is the reason why you bomb Nigeria, talking about we helping save Christians, but you won't save Christian people here.
Let that sink in.
Okay? Because if you bomb Nigeria, then that gives you access to Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. And what the Nigerian government going to do? They're going to conform to it. If you remove the president of Venezuela, now they ain't killed him, but you put him under house arrest in a penthouse. Okay. But if you remove him, then what you gonna do? You have access to the oil reserves that they have there, and you also have access to the money. And you want to make sure that they're not changing the money away from the dollar.
Do people remember when they invaded Iraq? Remember when they was finding all them hundreds of millions of American dollars? Saddam wasn't using that money. He had went off that. He wasn't using that. That's why when they was finding all that money, we finna trade, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't want to tell the truth. You see, that's why I be saying when I be seeing certain people, when I be saying certain stuff when they like Trump Trump not doing this to help us. He doing this to enrich himself and his that 1% that's up there.
Yeah, and the other part about that is if Congress was real serious and not a bunch of pansies, use that word for the day instead of what I wanted to say, then they would have impeached his ass a long time ago. And they're not doing that. And they're not going to do that. Why? Because they're getting paid to do it. He might turn around and attack us. Well, if you impeach his ass, what the hell are you going to do?
Same thing with Muammar Gaddafi.
I was just going to talk about
because I just see new one just put they killed
and y'all president killed Gaddafi. I ain't vote for him. Okay. He killed him based on what? You have free education, free housing, free medical. Y'all live in lavish. But because he wanted to do a United States of Africa, this is the reason, and he was pushing for that, then you end up killing him, all because you want to talk about the regime.
A regime that took a country from 3% literacy rate to 97% literacy.
97%
now
literacy rate.
Let that sink in.
Meanwhile, we rank 144th.
Yeah, let that sink in.
This country ranks 144th out of 200 countries in literacy in math and reading.
Yeah, let that sink in. While they running around here thinking, and that's why I can't stand when I be hearing that. Don't tell me he a good Christian when y'all seeing people. They killed 140 some girls,
children over there,
in the school. And then you know what? That's why when certain conversations I can't have with everybody.
No,
because I don't want to hear that bullshit where you making excuses for. Because you know. These were
they're gonna make excuses for him because he's a white boy. That's it. They're gonna make excuses,
and that's the thing. Because I listened to I told you how the situation was. What happened in Minnesota? Right. I'm gonna shut it down. What happened in Minnesota and what happened up in California? Both of them believe that the ICE agent. Let's wait till all the info come out. But then when it came to Minnesota, because that was the individuals were white, but you did have a Republican. I'm gonna be honest, Trevor, his thing, he kept his thing the same over here. When it came to Minnesota, they was interfering. But it was to me, it was like, dude, do you really think that the car that she was really finna run that person over where they shot this woman in the face? And that's the excuse. Like, do you understand? She shot, and they was making up every excuse that they was coming with. Even when you saw the video, oh, she bumped him. He had this. I'm like, Trevor.
Yeah, but still, he didn't
like that.
She didn't bump him in a manner where he needed to pull his weapon out and shoot her.
And that's what I was trying to tell him. Like, it didn't go like that. No, man. It's just I get it.
Because if she had been full on press the gas, you got every right. I'm pulling.
Yeah.
You got every right, but I'm turning.
Yeah, but that was my thing. Like, do you see this nonsense, man? And that's what I was trying to. And I get he military, and I get you. This is how. But my thing is, when they go with that, blacks kill more blacks? Yes, whites kill more whites. Mexicans kill more Mexicans. Every group gonna kill because that's who are you around? Your own. So you're gonna have that. But see, this when they do all that per capita, that's when they trying to.
But you can't. I'm sorry. You can sit around there and talk about black on black crime, which is a term came up with the racist people.
Right.
But you ain't talking about white people killing whole schools and families. And, I'm blowing up my girlfriend. They just had one over there that killed, the mama killed her 2 children because the babies wouldn't go to sleep or some crazy shit like that in Georgia. It was a white woman.
No, that's just like the sister got took to Tanzania and got killed. And it's just like,
because you're a black woman. But that part of that has to be all of us, not just here in Michigan. Anywhere black folks are, we have to acknowledge each other as black folks.
Yeah.
Not because United the same. And I tell this to brothers that I drum and dance with. We're black, period. They can kill you just as quick as they can kill me. We have to acknowledge, I don't care nothing about you, your ethnic group being Wolof or Jola or Susu or Malinke or whatever. We black. That's what binds us. Number one. Number two, if we didn't want to know more about who we were in our culture, then you wouldn't be important. And I tell them that all the time. You're not important. You're important only because we want to become more immersed and more knowledgeable about who we are and where we come from. Period. The other thing is the only time that we see an even exchange with them is if we have something to give them and they have something. It's not just an exchange just because hey man, we black and that's it. Period. That's it.
Thanks.
And that has to be, as far as that's concerned, I'm Caribbean or I'm from the Caribbean, I'm Jamaican. You still was a fucking slave.
Right. You got dropped off.
You got dropped off the we got dropped off over here. And all of that other stuff. Well, I'm indigenous. You still was your 100 million to 50,000.
Facts.
They don't consider that shit. You consider it, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. But how is it that what your isms are, drop that shit. We got to be talking about liberation.
Yeah, no, we got to. If it ain't talking about how we can build community. And I'm telling y'all, I'm just putting it on front. I'm sick of them blacks who sit up say, oh, we got to do this. Well, nigga, get out the way and let's get the blacks in there that's going to want to help and not be saying, oh, we got to include everybody. Because you're not telling that to other people.
And they're not, Latinx is not saying we're going to let black people come over here. Now, they'll come take your money, but they're not saying, hey, we want to have black people come over here and be part of our community center either.
I don't want to hear that. No, I'm sick of that shit.
Man, we have to stop doing that.
Want to help us. Get them Uncle Tom. I mean, because Uncle Tom, you can do the history on his different.
Thank you,
get
baby.
them goddamn sellouts.
Get the Sambo motherfuckers up
out of there. Then we can get some blacks that represent us. Because I don't see no blacks that represent us.
And they're not, because even if I talked to one of my boys yesterday, and apparently this brother's not going to try and run for mayor, but hey, tell him to hit me up and we can talk. I ain't heard from him. Because whether you were serious or not, but if you have something to say, man, hey, my boy told me to give you a call.
Yeah, you supposed to take, if you got something, you supposed to want to, but see, you know what? I remember used to be said, I forgot which coach I had said this. Like, you know, when you turn on that lights, camera, everybody the shit in practice. But when it's lights, camera, and action come on, you got to do it in front of a crowd, they fold.
Yeah. Like, I got one of my associates, friends, family, whatever, his wife, but if I don't, hey, if it's cool with you, we'll bring it on. You ain't got to stay but 15, 20 minutes. What's your platform? What you talking about? What you want to do? And then let's go.
Oh, Chris said the you know what, military, I understand that military won't agree with that situation. Then I'm saying when Newman said the black immigrants still isolate them. They do, because what happened when they not letting the pro-black immigrants get over here who would want to get with us. They get the ones who come over here already
inculcated.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it. Yeah. We gotta keep that word.
Yeah, you know, and that's how they do. So they want to be away from us, but then when they get their ass whooped and find out, they get their nigga wake up call is no different from the black man here, because you know what I'm saying? When they do get their nigga wake up call, then they want to come running.
And there's a few drummers that I know that's happened to, where they come over here, white folks will send for them over here, they'll use them, whatever, and then next thing I know, they getting ready to be sent back home. Why you being sent back home? You should want to go home.
Yeah.
That's what most people do. They come over here, they get their degrees or whatever, and then they go back home and help their community, help build their community. But they want to come over here and see, we have to remember they're part of the propaganda, right? So we talked about those brothers in Vietnam, and they went to Vietnam, and the first word that came out of other people's mouths was calling them a nigga.
Yeah.
How did they get to know that? Because you sent the propaganda over there in the first place. you know to tell them who they were.
Oh, they watched TV over here, man.
They ain't no watching TV. And if they do watch TV, thank you.
He went over there and told them that shit.
Right.
They talk about the black man in America and the woman here.
Right.
Yeah, like don't do that. I remember Brother Elliott come on and say, look, when he Brother Robert, when he go to immigration, how they talk about how they dog the blacks out.
Yeah.
That's not.
But this is status quo for here since 1915 and Birth of a Nation. This is what the deal is. You're never ever going to talk about something equal for somebody that you formerly owned.
That all you do is go look where they so love Abraham Lincoln. Go read how him and Frederick Douglass, how he was talking to Frederick Douglass. Do you think they was having friends like how they try to make? Oh, they were such good friends.
No, they weren't.
Better go back and look what he was saying.
They made Frederick Douglass the diplomat to Haiti in order to quell that situation. Yeah. To calm that down. No different than what Toussaint Louverture, who thought he was more French than he was African. They caught his ass and threw him in jail and let him starve to death.
No different than when they let Obama to be president, because you know what? They had to have a different face on that war on the Middle East.
Yeah. And then you shut the black Americans down because it's rumbling. Now we can go ahead on and kill Trayvon Martin, and we can kill the Tamir Rice, and we can kill Breonna Taylor, and we can kill Sandra Bland, and we can kill George Floyd and numerous other people. But then you can have an organization start that ain't shit. And on that note,
we out.
All right, family, we out.
Peace. See y'all tomorrow.
Yep.